Come on. Come on. What's going on, guys? So yeah, the title is a little bit clickbaity, but it's true. Like, there are certain flaws about the Tesla Model 3 that I don't like. Now, before you downvote, I do want to start this off by saying that I love the car, and it's been just an absolute pleasure to drive. I actually drive way more than I used to, just because like I enjoy taking out places. But like any product out there, you know, things are not always perfect. There are some minor issues I do have with the car. It may seem a little nitpicky, but I just kind of wanted to go ahead and discuss all of them with you guys, so you could kind of see some of the frustrations I've had with the car recently. So probably the most major annoyance is just the flakiness of the Bluetooth. A lot of times, you know, I'll come up to the car, I'll try to open the door, and then it'll ask me to touch the key card, even though my phone is on, Bluetooth is connected and everything. And then I'll have to do something like either turn airplane mode on and off, kind of get the Bluetooth reconnected, or I'll have to restart my phone. And it gets a little bit annoying. It should work 100% of the time. It works maybe 95% of the time. And I do think probably some of it is on Google's end. I have a Pixel 2. But at the same time, for a phone that popular, I feel like it's a little bit lacking in that department. And also, when the car goes into sleep mode, I've found like oftentimes the trunk won't open, but the doors will. So I'll have to, you know, open the door up and then pop the trunk from inside, or I'll have to stand there and then kind of keep pressing the trunk button over and over again until the trunk actually finally opens up. I'm just gonna bring you guys right over around here to show you one of the maybe most annoying panel gaps of the car. So right here, the gap here is pretty huge, right by the trunk. If you can see it, right around here. And then if you come over here, you'll see that it's aligned normally. It looks totally fine. So that's one thing. Also, over here, the front bumper, you'll see that this is pretty well lined up. But then if you go, apologies for the shake, I'm not a little bit too lazy to take out my gimbal right now. If you'll look right over here, you'll see that the bumper actually sticks out a little here. It's not lined up, it's not flush, and you can actually press it. So definitely there are some issues with fit and finish. Another issue with the car is this frunk over here. So the frunk is really kind of thin. You can kind of hear that it's a pretty thin material, and it's pretty light too. So when you're trying to shut it, you know, they tell you to actually have to place both hands here and then actually press down on it like that to close it. And it just, you kind of feel it flex under your hands, and it feels like sooner or later this is just gonna bend and crease. One thing I want to talk about is the reliability of Summon. So I think right here it'll probably work pretty well, since we're in a kind of open space and there's a pretty good connection. So yeah, so Summon works pretty well right here. But the thing is, where I live in an apartment complex, and whoa, what's it doing? Whoa, why is it turning? Whoa. Okay. Well, here's a issue of something. This was not staged. That's why is it turning? Actually, I'm kind of curious to see what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna have it keep going. Oh, now it's streaming out. Huh. But anyways, where I live is this apartment complex with covered parking, and there's not very good 4G signal. And the way Summon actually works is through 4G and not, you know, any kind of direct communication from the phone to the car. And so unfortunately, it is not very reliable. I would say I've only gotten to work at home maybe 1 out of 10 times. The other times, like, it's definitely making some sort of connection because the lights will turn on and flash, and then and you'll hear that sound, the gears, the sound of the gears winding up, and then it'll just wind down just like that and stop. So that's something that Tesla should really figure out, because that's really the situation when I'd like to use it the most, because the carport is incredibly tight. I'm like up next to a wall and a bunch of pillars, and there's not very much clearance on either side. Okay, so I tried summoning one more time. As you see, when you let it turn by itself, this is definitely not a parking spot. So look, the lines here just went right over that line. I don't really know what it's thinking. Here's another thing with the car that I don't like. The turn signal stock, when it goes down, it just automatically pops back up to the middle. When you go right, it pops back up to the middle. If you want to cancel it, you kind of have to wiggle it in the middle. Coming from a Mazda 6 and pretty much any other kind of car where when you push the turn signal down, it kind of locks into place, and then you bump it back to the middle in order to cancel it. So I personally don't like that. I don't really see the point of it, but it's something that Tesla does. This is probably one of the worst design decisions Tesla's ever made. This center console here, let me just rub it slightly. You can see that, like, my greasy fingerprints get all over it really, really easily. Any kind of dirt, grease, anything just shows up on the center console. And not only that, but when you're driving down the freeway, this shines in your eyes and it gets really distracting. So I actually had to buy a pair of sunglasses just to be able to drive in this car. Because, this, I should get a wrap or something like that. Right now, you see it's auto. And then I can turn on the recycled air. So, if, let's say I pass by a farm or I'm on the freeway, I'm not smelling exhaust. However, it doesn't remember this. Like, after the car goes into like deep sleep, like, overnight, you turn the car back on, this is back to being off. Another thing is the voice commands. So the voice commands are actually quite good if you wanted to navigate somewhere. Navigate to Google. As you see, that works great. So absolutely no problems there. However, it doesn't really understand many other voice commands at all. Like, not even something like turn on AC. It has no idea what that means. Turn on headlights. Can't deal with that. There's really just not that many commands you can deal with. I mostly just use it for navigation. You can use it to play stuff on Slacker Radio, but as you all know, Slacker Radio sucks. I don't know why they don't have Spotify. Actually, that's another thing I don't like about this car, is that it does not have Spotify integration, only Slacker. No one uses Slacker. The European Teslas already have Spotify, so I don't see why we can't have it here. It must be some kind of licensing issue. Another thing about this car is the absolutely tiny rear view mirror. And then also the rear window is also incredibly tiny. So it makes it very hard to get visibility. I guess you could drive around with the rear view camera on like that, but I don't really like doing that because sometimes, you're going to be messing around with the map. So I don't want to rely on having that camera on. Okay, and the final thing I wanted to talk about is auto park. So that's auto reversing into a space or auto parallel parking. I find those features very hard to trigger. It's almost like a pleasant surprise anytime that gray P shows up. It's just not very common. I've gotten it to show up maybe 5 times over the last couple of months. So it's really not that common. And the few times that I've used it, not that great. Sure, it can get you between both cars pretty safely, but wow, it is really far from the curb, like sometimes 3 feet away from the curb. Like, you're definitely getting a ticket if you leave the car like that. As for issues with autopilot, I already have a video out where I kind of talk about it. Autopilot works pretty well. It's just could be better, but you know, of course, with this car, you know, with more and more updates, especially the V9 update, which I'm looking forward to, that's coming out hopefully within the next month. Then that's going to have on-ramp to off-ramp functionality, and then apparently suggested lane changes. I thought it'd be automatic lane changes, but apparently it tells you like, hey, you can change lanes now. You know, press down on the turnstile to do it. We'll have to see when that comes out. I'll probably do a video on that too. Yeah, thanks for watching. You know, I just wanted to let you guys kind of like, you know, see some of the slight flaws with the car. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.